So today I'm really delighted to welcome Anna Doktor, who is a health and wellness coach and has her own business based in Brisbane in Australia called Anna Doktor Wellness Coaching. And I'm really interested to hear Anna's own story about how she got into the practice that she's in now, and also, of course, the tips that she can give the rest of us. She has had a really interesting journey herself through some really hard times and some times where she has not been very well in different ways. And I think that that's a wonderful way to learn and to understand how we can bring things into our own lives to help ourselves. So that's why I love having guests like Anna along. So welcome, Anna. I'd love to start, first of all, if you can tell us a bit about yourself and your journey and why it is that you're doing what you're doing, and also probably just describe a little bit about what your job is now, this business that you've created for yourself, what actually you do to help people.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast and for the lovely introduction. I guess it started probably a few years ago when, I was living in a constant state of stress and overwhelm and pressure. And I guess I lived that way and I thought it was normal because so many of us live the same way. And I guess, I was always busy and again, thought it was normal. I was always tired and lacking energy and not really looking after my health. And again, I was accepting as this is it. That's how it should be.
That's life.
And I guess that's life. Yes. And again, everyone else is the same, right? It's just no time, no energy. And, I was climbing the corporate ladder. I had my side hustle. I bought a house at that time and was renovating. So, just managing a lot of, areas in my life, my family here, my social life here. But I found that the busier I was, the less happier I was. And I think I was even more stressed. And I wasn't probably finding myself in all of it. And things got even worse in terms that I went through very challenging times with my family. I went through a grieving process. I went through depression and anxiety. I battled PTSD. And things got very, very dark, where it was very hard to, I guess, show up as my best self and fulfill all the needs and the commitments that I had in my life. And I strongly believe that knowledge is power. So I decided to research everything I was able to get my hands on in terms of habits and behavioral patterns. Why we behave the way we behave, what motivates us, why we procrastinate, where our energy comes from. Because deep down, I felt that there has to be a different way to life. There has to be a different way of meeting all the demands. And I guess one of the biggest things that I did was research a lot about stress. So where stress comes from, why we feel stressed, what are the stressors, and overwhelm, and what really happens in our bodies and our minds when we go through stress and overwhelm, and that we're always under pressure. And because I believe that knowledge is power only when you use it, I start implementing all the tools and strategies from the behavioral science and neuroscience to see what's working, what's not working, how I can change my life. So of course, I also research a lot about nutrition and how that impacts our energy levels. So I start eating better, right? I start actually getting the connection between what we put in our body, it's the energy we get outside. And of course, I needed really look into my sleeping patterns, take back my mornings, and start being productive, not just busy, but productive, and increase my energy levels. And of course, I needed to redo my whole stress story. We all have stress stories. We all react differently to stress, but nevertheless, we need to understand how that impacts our mental health and our physiological health, right? So yeah, I start implementing everything I learn. And I guess, again, I like to say that, you know, the teacher appears when the student is ready. I came across Wellness Coaching Australia, and I thought, okay, I will take it to the next level. And I enroll in the program, and I just fall in love with coaching and the tools and the techniques that they use and how they approach, I guess, health and wellness. So I got a certification. I became a certified health and wellness coach, and I decided to change my career and go into coaching. So I opened Anna Doktor Wellness Coaching, my private practice is in Brisbane. And yeah, because I realized that there are so many of us living in a constant state of stress and overwhelm and pressure, and always being tired and thinking that this is normal. But when we have the challenging times, we can't meet the demand because we're not in our optimal health and wellness. And I truly believe that when you live in your optimal health and well-being, you're capable of achieving anything.
Yeah, absolutely. So heaps to unpack from that. So really what you're saying is that, you know, I guess most people are living in a state where they are experiencing these things that you were, the stress, the fatigue, and not looking after themselves, basically with eating the right things and getting enough sleep. So therefore, then when something else comes into life, when something else goes wrong, like what happened with you with the family situation, then unfortunately that's when it all comes undone. So yeah, so I think that it's really important for people for that to really be something that you think about again and again, and listen to that again, that even though you think you're okay and you're going on and you're fine with 5 hours sleep, and yes, you can have another takeaway meal for the fourth night, when something goes wrong, which none of us can predict, you know, these things, you don't know where something's going to come from, that's when you're really going to be in a really difficult place. So yeah,
that's just it's so true. It's just so true what you said. I think, again, because it's this expectation that it's normal that, you know, we're always tired, or it's normal that we don't sleep, it's normal that we don't eat, and then, you know, we're a little bit, if I might say, surprised, right, that we can't cope with the demand, that we never have time, that we don't have the energy to do things. And yes, when, like you mentioned, when things get to maybe a little bit like a breakdown, right?
Yeah.
In some area in our life, then we just think, well, I don't know what to do. And then we just think, okay, well, our health is not really in optimal health, right, state. Our mindset, it's not as healthy as we would like to, and then it's very, very hard to get ourselves basically from the point where we are into a better state, because most of the time we probably don't really have a healthy support system to get us from, you know, from whatever challenging time we're experiencing to go best to the, you know, other side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that the lifestyle that so many of us have is one where, the bucket is constantly being depleted. And then you get to the point where the bucket is completely empty, and that's where, you know, something goes wrong and you've got nothing to draw on. So I know we keep going on about this, everybody, but it's so important. And that is, where health coaching comes in to help you with a preventative approach, and being proactive about your health. And people will complain about, oh, it's expensive to do things like that. But my goodness me, it is so much more expensive to be unwell. So yeah, we really can't say that enough.
I know. It's funny, I actually read it somewhere, so I'm not taking credit for it, but I read it somewhere. And it was actually a life coach from the States. He said, well, when you have problem with your pipes, you call a plumber, right? When you have problem with, switch, you call an electrician. So when you have problem with your health, or even to prevent it, like, why you don't look for a health practitioner who can help you?
Yeah.
Just help you with your health and with your well-being. Because the thing is, like, life is not going to get any slower. Let's face it. It's not like we're going to have those beautiful days where we have nothing to do and everything is perfect and everything is done and we're just relaxing and in a bliss state. Yes, that would be beautiful, but life is so busy and it's getting busier, and there is more and more demand on our energy, on our time, on our focus. I mean, we're distracted by so many things, and there's even more and more things that stealing our focus and distraction is not going to get easier, right? Yeah. So we need to have healthy coping mechanisms in place. So when there is more pull, we know how to be resilient.
Yeah, that's right. You need to have a healthy baseline. So when you said that you had PTSD, can you tell us a bit more about that in terms of how did that manifest for you? Do you think this is something that other people might have that they don't know that they have?
Yes, I would say yes, definitely. I think it's something that people don't talk about, and I guess for various reasons, but mostly it's like they just, either they don't want to face it that they have something like PTSD, and that's probably me. I was thinking, okay, this is not me. But then when I start researching about it, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have symptoms in terms of, mostly it's like when you have, flashbacks of traumatic event that happened. But I would say that for me, probably the biggest thing was that I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And that was a very big impact on my sleep. I literally had sleepless nights. And of course, there wasn't only that reason why I had sleepless nights, but most of the time, yes, because I could not calm my mind. I could not get myself into a safe space.
Yeah.
To even fall asleep. So yes, I had reoccurring traumatic dreams, and I wasn't able to then fall asleep. And again, I wasn't really I think I wasn't really facing the fact that, okay, I might be suffering from PTSD and I need to address it. And I think that's probably where a lot of people might find might be in a similar situation.
But this is something that would only happen as a result of a major trauma, not as a result of the everyday small t traumas that that we all have all the time.
Yes, no, that would be a more traumatic event in your life that happened. And I mean, it can be a very drastic event, but it will be a traumatic event on a certain level.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about sleep then, because I know that that's something that, I mean, obviously when you're saying you were having sleepless nights, it's literally torture, isn't it? People use sleep deprivation as torture if they're that way inclined. And I know that you talk about fixing your sleep and your sleep patterns, especially as one of the first steps to getting yourself back into a state of wellness. So can you tell us about that? So I suppose you've already mentioned sleepless nights and bad dreams and not being able to fall asleep. So anything else that you want to talk about in terms of the quality and quantity of sleep you were getting, and then how you did address it?
Yes. Oh gosh, I think we don't talk enough, I guess, about sleep. And I think we're not connecting, the dots between the importance of sleep, and not only the length of sleep, but the quality of our sleep and our health, general health.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, for me, it was a lot. Yes, sleepless nights. I was going to bed at random times. I was always tired, and I didn't have energy really for anything. I wasn't motivated, but I also, my mental health, like my emotions, gosh, they were so off balance. I was either grumpy, or I was frustrated, or I was groggy and everything, because I wasn't really giving enough recovery time for my body and my mind. Also, there were other aspects, I guess, the stress and the overwhelm and the pressure. And I guess some of the coping mechanisms that I had, like alcohol consumption. So, I was trying to get myself to sleep with alcohol.
Yeah.
And then, at the morning, I couldn't get up. So I was just drinking a lot of coffee to get me going, really.
Yeah, it's such a typical negative cycle that people put themselves in, isn't it?
Yes, because we think, oh, okay, glass of wine that then turns into 2 glasses of wine, whatever is good, because it will make us fall asleep. But then it really interrupts our sleeping patterns, and we can't get the deep stages of sleep, which are the most important, because that's when all the healing in our bodies happen. So of course I had this, the roller coaster, I guess, of drinking and coffee in the morning. But I guess again, I came across a life coach, and it was a lot of talking about building a morning routine. And I'm a really big believer in morning routine, and I talk about it all the time, and I encourage everyone to have a morning routine, because I guess for me, my morning routine started with a very simple thing, just getting up when the alarm rang. And now this is a very simple thing, and people will be thinking, oh, I do it all the time. But do you? Because just because the alarm rings, okay, and you grab your phone and either you snooze it, or horrors, right? Going on social, going on news, checking the weather, the emails. This is not getting up, and this is not waking up, right? This is just, going into our negative patterns, I guess. So for me, the biggest thing and the first thing was to get up when the alarm rang. And it was interesting because, it's a simple thing, but, I start doing it, and I start seeing how, I guess, my mental health was shifting. And I guess the whole thing here is that our tendency, as human tendency, is to have everything in control, right? We want to control our behavior, we want to control others, we want to control the environment. And when we hear the alarm clock at the morning and we hit the snooze, well, we're not really in control of our morning, right? But when we get up, when the alarm rings, we actually did something. And for me, especially at that time, I was going through a grief process. So for me, I was dreading mornings, right? I didn't even want to get up in the morning. So I didn't have anything in control. And again, when we're in stress and overwhelm, we're in a state where we have no control over anything. So for me to not hitting the snooze button, to get up, I actually start getting a control of my morning, because then it was me in control of what I did next. And this way, it might seem very simple, but it helped me to build confidence that I'm able to, look into my day, and I'm able to plan what I'm going to be doing, and I'm able to control, or have the, I guess, illusion of control, because let's face it, we can't really control things.
Yeah.
But illusion of control. And that helped me to keep going. And of course, I start adding other things to build my morning routine. But because I researched a lot about sleep and the sleeping patterns and the circadian clock, the sleep and wake cycle, I start adjusting the times when I was going to sleep And then when I was getting up, and again, of course, it takes time, but I started finding myself that I was getting sleepy more or less at the same time at night. And then again, because I started building my morning routine, I knew that I had to get up at the morning, which meant that I needed to allow enough sleep during the night. So I needed to go to sleep at roughly the same time. So I start adding other elements. And of course, I look into my coping mechanism with stress and alcohol consumption. So I needed to repeat that pattern a little bit. And then I was able to, going back to, I guess, to building a morning routine, I was able to add other components like, meditation. So I was able to get a little bit, getting the focus to be more on me, so I can plan what I will do in my day. So I could, hack into the productivity science, I guess, a little bit. But once I start, because it came a little bit like a domino effect. So once I start adding all the components, I noticed that, yes, I was sleeping more during the night. I was able to control my emotions a little bit better, that I was getting maybe longer stages of sleep. And then, I started seeing that, I had a little bit more energy during the day. So I was able to, incorporate some body movement, some, exercising. So again, that helped in my overall health and well-being.
So can you take us through what your morning routine is now?
Yes, so at the moment, my morning routine is very well beyond, I guess. So of course I start at the morning. At the moment, because we're just going into summer, I get up at 5:30. And again, like I have my phone away from my bed. So when it rings, I physically have to get up to turn it off. And then because I'm up, right?
Yeah.
I meditate at the moment. At the moment, actually, I'm following a Ziva meditation. Is a technique.
Oh, yes. Yeah, they're good.
But I meditate at the morning. I like it because it's short.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of us just think, I have to sit for 30 minutes. And I mean, to be frank, I don't have 30 minutes at the morning just to meditate. So I prefer to do it in 15 minutes. And then I set priorities for the day. So I always pick 3 things that are done, and then I plan all the other things for the day. And then I go.
Sorry to interrupt. When you're doing this, are you actually like writing them down? Is that your process?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I would love to do everything in my head.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, because if it's in your head, then it's in your head and it's taking up space in your head, and it's much better to have it out of your head, isn't it?
Yes. And I think, it's just a really funny thing. And I guess that's one, I don't know if we talk about motivation, okay? We can get ourselves to do anything, but then we can talk ourselves of doing anything, really. So I can say in my head, okay, this is, a priority for me today, but then it's going to be so easy to sabotage my mind and just say, oh, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, true.
Of course, I have a journal, and I set the priorities. I always write it down. So even if it's not done or something, it's like you said, it's it's out of your mind, out of your brain. You're not taking up the space. And it's just there on a piece of paper. And once I do that, I go for a walk. So I walk every day. I actually work in nature. I'm lucky that I live very close to a nature reserve, and I can literally walk there. It's across the road. So I go there for a quick walk. So again, it's body movement is just so important for our physical health, but for our mental health. And then, I get the bonus of being in nature and actually starting my day in nature. And then I come home, and, that's really where my day starts.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay. And I'd like to also talk a bit more about sleep. I know that you mentioned the deep sleep that therefore helps our body and most importantly our brain to repair and rejuvenate itself. So is there anything else you'd like to add to that? So, I mean, I guess it's trying to just come to the most basic levels for people and understanding, well, how do they know if they're getting that deep sleep? What else, other than not drinking a lot of alcohol, especially right before they go to bed? And also I would say try not to drink caffeine as well, probably in the second half of the day. But is there anything else that you would add as to what people should do to make sure they get that deep sleep and how they can tell perhaps if they are?
Yes, I would say yes. Just adding to what you said, of course, I guess any stimulant. So yes, caffeine, like not to have. Our bodies, I mean, each body is individual, right? So we might digest, food or I guess, alcohol or caffeine or whatever in different ways. But yes, definitely just to not have any caffeine in the second half of the day. And I guess, again, with nutrition, there are, of course, so many different thoughts on what to eat and when to eat and everything. But again, digestion takes a lot of energy. So probably it's not the best way to have, a very big, heavy meal just before we go to sleep. It's probably better just to have, a lighter meal. So again, looking into our maybe meal planning a little bit. But I would say one of the biggest one would be probably physical activity. Again, just to, our bodies were not designed to be, stationary for long periods of time. And if we sit the whole day and then we come home and we have a big meal, maybe with a glass of wine, and then we sit down, well, the whole stress from the day, it's in our body. We're storing it. So the best way to relieve that stress is through a physical activity. And when I'm talking about physical activity, I'm not saying, you have to go to the gym and just, do, I don't know, whatever reps. I'm not in the gym, so I don't know. But I mean, you have to have some sort of physical activity. Go for a walk, for a jog, I don't know, go up and down, stairs in your house, anything. So you move and you relieve that stress. Because when we're talking about stress, we're actually talking about cortisol production. So if your body produced a lot of cortisol, it means that your melatonin, the hormone level for sleep, it's low, which means that it's going to be very, very hard for you to fall asleep. So looking at the hormonal balances, and again, you can reduce the cortisol through physical activity. And again, the way, for example, for me, like I have a morning routine, but I also have an evening routine. It's a beautiful way of, I would say, even self-care. But the evening routine, it's all done to send signals to your body and to your brain that it's time to slow down, it's time to switch off, it's time to go to bed. Right? And I would say, one of the elements, I guess, of evening routine, it will be activity that tells your body that it's time, to go to bed. But digital detox, oh my goodness, that would be probably one of the best things that you can, do to your brain, because our brain is overloaded with all the information. And then if just before you go to bed, you're still on, social media or checking emails or doing anything else, let's say with your phone, then you're not switching your brain. Your brain is very active. It's, just thinking, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, you can't fall asleep because your brain it's too stressed to calm down and to go to sleep.
And not only that, but you've got the blue light from the screen turning your melatonin off again. Yes.
But yes, exactly. It's the whole the blue light here as well. But I would say the distraction, because again, it's like when we were children, our parents give us a bath, right? They read us a book and just tuck us into bed, right? Because we feel safe and we feel, okay, now it's time to sleep. But I mean, if we use our bed for everything, you know, if we work or we eat or anything like that, I mean, we're not sending any signals to our body or our brain that it's time to go to sleep.
Yep. So you've told us your morning routine. What is your evening routine?
My evening routine. I love to read. So for me, it's always reading. And I love baths, like warm baths. But again, you kind of need to plan it so you know your body temperature then can lower before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I would say any calming activity. Any journaling if someone does it, there are so many beautiful activities, like the coloring and things like that. For me, usually it's a bath or a shower, and it's a little bit of a routine. Again, I love to read, so I'm always with the book. And again, I don't read in bed. I have my own special reading nook, which again I designed it, with a nice plant and a candle and everything. So I actually read there because I'm reserving my bed for sleeping.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Yes. So I read there, and again, I'm usually off electronics.
Screens,
and screens probably around maybe 2 hours even before I go to sleep. Again, it really depends. Sometimes, it's like, oh, okay, I need to just do this, but I try not to, because again, I see it in myself. And this is another thing you would know if you have a nice and good quality sleep, because if I get up at the morning and, either I can't get up or I feel tired, I know that, the night before, I was, I was on my phone for too long, or maybe I had the meal a little bit too late. And of course, I try not to have any stimulants. I usually drink some herbal tea and water. And of course, I take my alcohol consumption under control, so I don't tend to drink during the week at all. And then if I have a glass of wine or something, I really try to not have it late in the evening, so it doesn't disturb my my sleeping patterns.
So how long before sleep do you think you need to finish consuming alcohol, if you do consume alcohol?
There are, again, different thoughts, and I think you will be different on your body and your digestion system and how quickly your body can remove it from your bloodstream. But again, I try to have probably like 2 hours before. So if there is anything, and I drink a lot of water, and I want to say at the moment, I live in Queensland, it's very humid, so and everyone is just telling you, oh, stay hydrated, so you have it, you have a bottle of water with you. So I drink a lot of water as well, just to help, I guess, to my body also to remove all the toxins.
Great. And so basically, if people wake up feeling unrefreshed, then that's a really good indicator that your body is not going into the deep repairing sleep that it needs overnight.
Yes, of course. I strongly believe, in the mind-body connection, and our body sends us signals all the time. Most of the time, unfortunately, we ignore the signals, and then that's why we end up probably in the state where we are. Because even, for me, when I was living in a very, stressed and overwhelmed state, my body was sending me signals. My body was telling me, hello, you're very moody. Hello, I didn't get any sleep. You're not gonna, go for exercise because I don't have any energy to give you. So it's a very easy indicator. Our body sends us signals all the time. So your body will tell you at the morning. If you cannot get up at the morning, if you're tired, and even if you get up at the morning and the first thing you're thinking, oh gosh, I need a cup of coffee to wake me up, then probably you didn't get enough. And again, I would say we're using the word enough, but every person is different, because it will depend on the level of stress that you have in your life at the moment, how busy you are, maybe you have a stressful event coming in your life. I don't know, or maybe you're on holidays and you're relaxing. So of course there will be different amount of what is enough, but your body will tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I just think we're so bad at listening to our bodies these days. Unfortunately, it's just people are not attuned to their bodies. So it's a practice, and you just need to start practicing it.
Yes, it's a practice, because I think again a lot of us take our health for granted because we have it. We didn't work to get it, right? We have it, and we assume that it's just gonna be there forever. But for me, it's like, it's a little bit like that with nutrition. If we don't fuel ourselves, we shouldn't expect our body to carry us throughout the day and meet all the demands that we have, because we're not really looking after our body. So yeah, we take our health for granted, and I think that's why I think I'm so in tune with coaching, because it's a preventative healthcare form, right? Because sometimes, and it's not for all, and thank goodness that it's not for all, but sometimes when our body says this is it, it's enough, sometimes it's a very late stage, and maybe there is already like underlying life-threatening illness that it's happening. And again, this is not because it just happened overnight. It's because for many years our body was sending us signals, and we were
ignoring them. Yeah,
we were just ignoring them, or just not even being aware.
Or not aware of them. Exactly. Yeah,
and it's just, and sometimes it is maybe too late, and sometimes it's a wake-up call. But I would say it all comes down because we don't listen to the signals, and our body sends us signals all the time.
Yeah, so true. So I noticed that you have what you call 3 pillars of health, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that they're sleep, movement, and nutrition. We've talked a lot about sleep, and you have certainly mentioned quite a bit about movement as well, perhaps with nutrition. And I know you said that for yourself, that was another major thing you did, was to start to eat better. So perhaps can you tell us a bit more about that, again, in sort of basic terms of what people can do to help themselves, and, what does eating better actually mean?
Yes. I actually believe that food it's medicine, and you can heal yourself through food. But also, I like to use the analogy with car. If you want your car to get you somewhere as quickly and as smoothly as possible, but if you don't put good quality petrol, then probably breaks down and you're not going to get you to your destination. It's the same with our bodies and with our nutrition. And for me, I've been a vegan for many years, and I've been on a plant-based diet for over 20 years, I guess. But again, it's not exactly if you're vegan, then you're healthy or unhealthy. No, it's what you eat. And again, when you're stressed or when you're not listening to your body, most of the time it's a quick meal, or it's a prepared meal or processed food, right? That's mostly our diet. Well, for me, what it meant was actually, researching about nutrition and then getting the balance between, the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats that it works for my body. And for me, a really big thing was sugar. I know probably everyone already heard it, but yes, I went through, I quit sugar, and I eliminated all processed sugar. And I guess part of the program is that you remove all sugar, so even the natural sugar that you have in fruit, for example, it's all sugar. But that was probably, again, a very big wake-up call in terms of, I guess, what we eat, but that sugar is in everything. Literally, it's in everything. So for me, again, it was that awareness, because it's you need to build, and you need to start taking a healthier food choices. but knowing what agrees with you and what doesn't, and then getting the balance, right. And yes, removing, I would say maybe all or as much as you can processed food from your diet. For me, I eat a lot of fruit and a lot of veggies. I love different types of spices and herbs, so I adding all that into the mix. And yes, I do not do any processed sugar. I do eat fruit. I love fruit, different type of fruit. But again, I'm more aware of how much sugar I should be consuming, so I can monitor, I guess, my energy levels, and I don't have, the sugar cravings. I don't have any more, because when we have when we eat sugar, our energy, goes up, but then it plummets very, very quick. So I don't have those dips, I guess, in energy anymore. And again, because that's how, sugar affects our bloodstream, I guess. And our energy levels. But I would say that there is so much, again, information out there, but it's only our body will tell us what percentage of carbohydrates we need, or what percentage of fat we need, or what percentage of proteins we need, so we can live and we can operate in our optimal health.
So are you suggesting that, once again, this is something where people need to be attuned with their body and what it's telling you about the, quantities of those macronutrients?
Yes, because quite often, it's, we go to the shop and we just buy whatever things without even reading the ingredients. And then, we, for example, feel always sick. Well, because there's probably some inflammation happening in our body. And then connecting that, for example, if you add that item and you didn't feel well, then most likely there is something in that processed food or in that item that it's making you sick. So then removing that from your diet and just seeing how you're feeling, that's, I would say, that's one of the, the most important things that you can do for your health, just building that awareness.
Okay. So basically, whole foods is really the message. So avoiding processed foods as much as possible. That's exactly the same message I would give. And and avoiding sugar, especially cane sugar, processed sugar, as well. It doesn't mean you can't have anything sweet, but just really, like, most people have way too much, and it's really toxic for the system. So just cutting that down. So do you mean you went through the actual I Quit Sugar programs?
Yes.
Was it Sarah Wilson? Is that her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's very interesting because your palate changes. Right? And then in a sudden, you just think, I can taste different flavors, and I didn't even know, right? Because it changes. And again, for example, for me, I can say straight away, like now I can say straight away that something is too sweet. Like I was like, okay, this is too sweet. Like I'm for example, not going to have it. And it's not because of the added sugar. Sometimes I might eat a banana, and the bananas, of course, are very high in fructose. But sometimes the banana can be too sweet for me because I redid my palate. Because I stripped all the sugars, all the carbohydrates, and then we started introducing a little bit, step by step, again. And then I got to my threshold when I'm like, okay, this is now too sweet, and I can't really tolerate it. Anyway.
Amazing.
But I just want to say that it didn't happen overnight. Right. It took time, and yes, at the beginning, yes, I felt a little bit sick, I had headaches, because it's all the withdrawing, right, from my body, like all those toxins. So of course I went through all of it, muscle pain and everything. But then it's good. It's actually good that you feel it, because it means your body is doing the detox. It's cleansing you from all the toxins, I guess, that we put into ourselves. But I guess it's very nutritious. It's a funny subject, because a lot of us have very emotional relationship with food, and a lot of us use food as a stress management technique. And again, if we don't kind of connect the dots, then we probably don't even see that we're binging on some food, or we're craving some sugars, because again, there is something else that it's maybe not working in our life, and
something that's missing.
Something missing, and we're trying to cope with that through food. But again, a lot of us are not really aware that that's what we're doing. Because for me, it's like life is for living, right? So it's not about having the donut, right, once in a while. But I mean, eating the donut every single day, or even more donuts, yes, that's probably not what your body it's craving or it's needing, and it's probably not getting all the energy and all the nutrients that it needs. So I would say definitely balance around
and food. Important to mention as well that in fact it's often not exactly your body, it's the bacteria in your body, the bacteria in your gut that are addicted to the sugar and need the sugar to grow and to multiply, and that they're actually controlling you. So I just find people find that a bit helpful, to at least not feel bad like they're weak, or they've got no self-control, because in fact no, you don't, because it's these little critters that are controlling you. And that's and that's why you have that horrible detox experience when you give it up.
Yes, that's so true. Actually, lately I've been reading this great book about gut health, and there is the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, but I mean, it's like a little bit like little monsters, right? Inside, and they're just craving on sugar, and the more sugar you give them, the stronger they are, and the more sugar they want. It's a really interesting relation. But again, because you see, a lot of us feel guilt, I guess, that I had that donut, and you feel guilty, and you have all those negative self-talk, and you're just saying how bad you are and everything because you had that donut. But this is not you. It's exactly, I would say, like you mentioned, it's all the little
monsters.
The little monsters.
Okay, so can you just tell us a bit about your practice in terms of what people could expect if they came to see you? What processes do you take them through? And just to add to that, so Anna does work with people online. She's mainly just doing that at the moment, but we'll be doing in person, from next year. But so just wanted to make sure everybody's aware. It doesn't matter where you are, you can connect with Anna and work with her. But I'd love for you to tell people what you actually do with them when they do want to go through some coaching with you.
Yes. So I guess at the core of my coaching is for people to understand themselves better, right? And I guess the whole coaching, it's all about kind of self-awareness, because I believe that once you know what's happening, what drives you, what is working, what is not working, then we can look into a plan. But I guess in practice, at least it seems that I'm using a lot of tools and techniques from behavioral science, neuroscience, but it's a lot around getting a questionnaire. So that's how we're starting. We're looking at different areas in your life. We're looking what's stressful for you, where the stress comes from. We're looking at different areas in your life, and we're looking at what's working and what's not working. Because again, a lot of people feel like everything it's not working in the lives, right? Which is not the case. There are a lot of things that are already working in life. So what we do, of course, we're looking at what's working. We're going to be building on that. And that means we're building a roadmap to get you from your current state where you are now to your healthy self, whatever that might mean, because we're of course working a little bit here around vision and where you want to get, and building, setting behavioral goals, so which is the roadmap to get you from A to B. But mostly as a coach, I'm there to help you get started, to get you to build a momentum, and to keep you kind of on your toes and keep you accountable. Because a lot of people, and I guess this is another thing, a lot of people can go online and they can just say, oh, I have the vision, I know where I'm going, and okay, that's it, right? And a month later you just think, oh, but nothing improved. But as a coach, if you have a coach, right, I'm that accountability buddy for you. I'm there to really keep you on track and help you to overcome any lapses, because there are going to be lapses, there are going to be roadblocks. So I'm there to help you, to move you towards your goal, whatever that might be.
Fabulous.
Yes, and yes, as you mentioned, at the moment I offer one-on-one coaching sessions, which are online, but in the new year I will be taking clients in person in Brisbane, in the Brisbane clinic. And I offer a coaching packages, again, working around stress and overwhelm and understanding where that's coming, and building your pillars of health. And I offer also a lot of free resources through my website, annadoktor.com.au, where I have a blog every week. And again, I blog about, I guess, everything to do, with stress, overwhelm, productivity, but I guess, sleeping, recovery time, anything around health and wellness. I would invite everyone to get on my newsletter so you can get it. But then again, I offer videos which are, little, I guess, snaps, I guess, of like, a mental hack. So it's a very short a video, how to be more productive, or how to deal with your stress or motivation, or nutrition or anything like that. And I offer also free guides. At the moment I have around time management, because actually time is the biggest stressor that there is, right? I don't think there is anyone on the planet who doesn't complain, that would like to, about lack of time. So again, you can access that all through my website. And I'm working on some programs, and I'm collaborating with other beautiful people, which means that that's all gonna be released in the new year. We're almost at the end of the year.
I know that'll be here before we know it. So with your coaching packages, so do you have sort of a, do people do a set number of sessions with you? Is that how it works? Yes. So you can either do like discovery session, and then of course we need to see if if the chemistry is there, if we can work together. And also I'm there to help you to get to your point, but there has to be some work on your part too, right? So we need to see if we're matching. And then the other packages are 3 sessions or 6 sessions. Okay. And would people normally come or do a session every couple of weeks or every month? So the first session is a longer session. It goes for an hour and a half, and then the 2 follow-up sessions are 60 minutes. And then the sessions usually they're either, depending on the individual client, but it's either following week or 2 weeks later, but no later, because I need to get you to get progress. You need to get progress, you need to build the momentum, and I want you to see results. And now this is neuroscience, right? If we have a project and we say to ourselves, okay, I'm going to complete it in 30 minutes, you're going to get done in 30 minutes. If you say to yourself, oh, I'm going to do it in 3 hours, you're going to take all the time, right? So if the duration between sessions is too long, then you're kind of losing the momentum. And that's, of course, what I don't want to happen. So great. No longer than 2 weeks in between. And of course, you're able to purchase another package, or work on another area of your health
and such. So yeah, there are additional options.
All right, sounds good. And yeah, you do have some really good free resources. So I would recommend everybody does hop over to your site. So it's Anna, can you say what the website is again?
Yes, so it's my name actually. So it's annadoktor.com.au.
.com.au. Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. And so before we finish up, Anna, any last tips, anything else that you feel like you really want to say before we finish up the interview today?
Yes, I would like to say, I guess probably my first tip would be to educate yourself. Honestly, there is no need to feel guilty or just feel like, oh, I'm stupid because I don't know something, and that's stopping maybe you from, learning something. The best way to start making healthier lifestyle choices is to have the knowledge, to know different things and see what works for you. And whatever you do in your life, just start. Okay, don't wait for the perfect time, because it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't exist, right? Just start right now, wherever you are in your life, with whatever resources you have, whatever you think you maybe you're lacking or you don't have or whatever. Just start right now. Now it's the best time. And when you start, go slowly, okay? And be gentle to yourself. It's a process. It's going to take time, but be gentle, and you can build your confidence by taking small steps. With my morning routine, I start with something very small, but once you start with small step, you can keep building the next one and next one and the next step and the next step. So starting slow, okay, it's better than not starting at all.
Yeah,
I would only say that. And yeah, be gentle to yourself, during the process.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna. It's been really great having a chat today and learning about your practice and about your own path as well. So really appreciate you sharing, and encourage people to have a look at all the wonderful resources that you offer.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
You too.